Hi guys, it's time to dish on ACOTAR. If you haven't read it, time to scroll up. But if you want to discuss it further, stick around. Let's talk first impressions. Is it just me, or does it feel like the first chapter or two or three did its very best to rip off a whole lot of different fairy tales? I mean, I found Beauty and the Beast, there was Cinderella, and then there was a little bit of the Hunger Games in there. You know, she's like this badass archer. She runs off into the woods to hunt because her family is starving. Not to mention, she has a boy toy back home who is completely useless. It might be a little petty, but I couldn't help but wonder how she didn't manage to freeze to death while she was out there, presumably for hours in the snow, trying to hunt things. Okay, it's a fantasy. I know. Doesn't have to be realistic all the time. But the writing style, man, it got to me. There's so much passivity in the first little bit, which it gets better, thank goodness, but what a rough road. So once I got past the fact that it felt like the author ripped off a bunch of different stories and kind of pasted it together, I started to enjoy it once they kind of get on with it. Although, there's still the issue of her family. I don't understand why she cares so much about them. They don't seem like they treat her very well. And honestly, I'm not entirely sure that I understand how she turned out as good as she did, considering the way they are. Not that she's all that great, but she at least tries to be responsible and take care of them and all of that stuff. But her sisters are mean. It's like the wicked stepsisters, except they're not the stepsisters. And then, of course, they change. People change in the maze. So Feyre goes off to do her duty and live with the fairies, leaving everyone behind, and we introduce Tamlin. Now, apparently people don't love Tamlin all that much, but maybe that's because of future books? Is there stuff in future books that really makes him look bad? I don't know, because I haven't gotten that far yet. But in this one, he's just kind of moody and he's whatever. But you know, I don't think he's that bad. I felt like there was a nice little slow burn that goes on between them, and I can feel their chemistry, which is good. Sometimes if they go too quickly, it doesn't feel very realistic, and so it kind of doesn't jive for me. Now, what I will say that this book does excel at is that action is pretty good. Once it picked up and there was things happening, I was sucked in and I couldn't put it down until I finished it. The chemistry was pretty good. When it plays in with the action of everything, it just kind of flows good. It's not super awkward. It's not corny or cringy. So that part I really did like. But just getting up to that point, just getting up there, it's the hard part. You just gotta hang on until you get to the good part. There are some amazing ethical dilemmas in this book, so if you like the morally gray and trying to figure out like what to do in situations that are seriously impossible to figure out without being a little crazy, this is a good one for that. I will say though that if there is no big red flags in future books that put Feyre off from Tamlin, I'll be a little disappointed in her if she's the type of person who imagines she's in love with someone and then as soon as something shinier comes along, just, I don't know. I don't really get into characters who are like that, so I'm hoping she doesn't disappoint. My favorite character from the series, which is probably not going to surprise you all that much, is Rhysand. And the reason that I like Rhysand is because he is the one that rides the fence of being more mysterious and dark, and there's the question of, is he good, is he bad? It honestly reminds me a little bit of Snape from Harry Potter. So that intrigues me. I find him to be one of the more interesting characters. And I'm very curious to see what he will do and what he will be like in future books. Overall, I gave this book 3.8 out of 5 stars. That is a generalized number based on the 6 categories that you see over there. Plot, I gave 3 stars, mostly because of the ripping off of other plots. And then characters, I gave 4 stars. I felt they were pretty well developed. Not all of them, but some of them were pretty well developed. The action was great. Vocabulary was pretty good. There was some new words, some diversity to the language. Suspenseful, definitely. Dialogue was fairly decent. So that is how I came with that rate. Actually, I'm surprised that I rated it 3.8. I was surprised because I thought it would be a little higher. I hoped I would be able to rate it a little higher, but it was not meant to be. I did like Feyre, contrary to what some others have told me, that they didn't really like her. I can see why some of them don't like her, because she's kind of a rude little ungrateful creature, having been brought to paradise and throwing a massive tantrum about being there. But on the other hand, I kind of get it. She was absconded with and not really given any choice in the matter. Consent is not really coming into play here, so just because someone force feeds you a lemon pie does not mean that you have to be grateful. So, the chemistry, I gave a red rating for just being believable. It took a time, it's not insta-love, and mentation, I said positive neurons. It means I experienced a bit of brain growth. I believe the book had what I would consider a happy ending. I did not put it as a top shelf item. I don't think I would ever read it again. Spice, I gave it 3 peppers. It's not extremely explicit or anything. And the vibes were romantic, adventure, bravery, danger, and wonder, because of it being, magical. And I will be attempting to read the next one. So, this is my thoughts so far. Feel free to add yours below, and I will look forward to discussing the book with all of you now that I've read it, and we can discuss it without worrying about spoilers. Oh, also, I'm really curious to know who your favorite character is from this particular book in the series. Was it Rhysand or Tamlin or Feyre? And if it was Tamlin, please speak up, because I've heard a lot of negativity about him, so I'm curious if there are any out there who actually like him. Bye-bye.